Sweet, smoky, and spicy pork ribs, glazed with a rich blend of Satsuma whiskey and Peach Bourbon fruit spreads, kissed with amazingly hot jalapeños for that perfect heat. It's a perfect summer recipe. So, without further ado, people, let's make this shit. All right, for today, smoked pork ribs. I can't think of anything I want more right now in this summer weather than some nice smoked pork ribs. And it's not just gonna be any smoked pork ribs. We're gonna be combining it with a nice dry rub that includes jalapeno powder and an awesome glaze at the end to go on top of it. So without further ado, people, let's make this shit. All right, to kick things off, we're gonna start off with our dry rub. So I've got some jalapeno powder here, about a tablespoon of that. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add in some garlic, salt, and pepper blend. Add that in there, about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of that. Then I'm gonna, of course, come through with some paprika. This is smoked paprika, tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of that. It's always to taste, however much you want. I like to go bold with my spices. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in some onion powder. So onion powder, same thing, tablespoon, just keep it easy, right? Or you can do a teaspoon, doesn't matter. Give it a nice mix, and let's move on to our pork. So I got some ribs here that I'm gonna go ahead and dry up. Make sure you remove any silver skin on the back if it did come with some silver skin, but mine did not, thankfully. And so we want this super, super dry before we apply our rub. So I've got my smoker set to 275 and I'm gonna apply a binder now. So I'm not using mustard, I'm gonna be using honey. I like to use honey a lot with pork for a binder. Sometimes I use mustard too, but today I'm feeling like some honey. So I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle that on both sides and give it a nice rub and apply the dry rub to both sides very, very, very heavily. I got a little too excited here and I applied the dry rub before rubbing in the honey. Don't do that. Definitely apply the honey first, rub it in, and then the dry rub. And I just want to make sure that I get the rub on every single crevice I possibly can. So it does take me a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth it in the end. This will go into the smoker for 2 hours uncovered, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I spritz it every 45 minutes with some apple juice. Once the 2 hours has passed, I'm going to go ahead and bring it back in. I'm going to wrap it up in some tin foil, but before I do, I'm going to apply about 3 tablespoons of butter. You can go as butter heavy as you want to with this, but I'm going to go ahead and apply some butter. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and drizzle in some apple juice that I have here. Just go ahead and give that a nice drizzle in there and then wrap it up, and it goes back into the smoker for another 2 hours. This is going to help it get super, super tender. Now I'm going to start working on the glaze, which is going to take some time to render down. So I'm going to go ahead and in a pan on low heat, I'm going to drop in about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Then I'm going to come through with about a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar because it's going to reduce anyways, and I want it to be as flavorful as possible. So get that acid in there, and then I'm going to come through with some ketchup as well. For ketchup, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of ketchup should suffice. So go ahead and drop that in there. And then I'm adding some, you can add jam, but I'm adding these fruit spreads. This is a peach cardamom one that I found at my grocer. And then I also found this Satsuma whiskey sour one, which were really tasty, but add whichever kinds you want. It's your recipe. And then 3 tablespoons of smoked paprika, and then a tablespoon of soy sauce. Drop that in there. Tablespoon of chipotle chili powder. Same for some onion powder. Same for some garlic powder. And there we are. We can start whisking this, but before we do, we're gonna go ahead and add some honey as it's starting to boil up because it's at medium to low now. We want to get to that boil, and then we're gonna add in about some salt to taste, so about a tablespoon of kosher salt. Give it a nice mix before we add in some chopped jalapeños. And it does take a while to reduce, but after some time, go ahead and drop in your jalapeños and give it another nice mix. And it's just on a low now. Once it hits that boil, it's on a low, so we can just simmer this down. Okay, so the 2 hours has lapsed, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the ribs from the smoker, and then I'm gonna remove them from the tin foil. Be really careful because they're gonna be super, super tender at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and apply the glaze to all sides. We're just going to cover this completely and then put it back in the smoker for another 30 minutes to 45 minutes. All right, ribs are done. They've rested, and check this out. I got to tell you, this recipe came out so damn good. I'm going to keep this one in my back pocket for another smoking day because it was awesome. The food came out super, super tender. The ribs were super tender and super smoky, and they had that nice hint of spice, but not too much spice. All right, and we're done. So, gonna go ahead and yeah, we'll try these ribs. Here we are. Wow. Those are damn good. Damn good ribs. I mean, they fall apart. They're super smoky, and the jalapeno powder that we added to this really hits hard. It's not too spicy. You can enjoy it with your family and friends. And honestly, people, this is so damn good. So I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this. And yeah, cheers. How about?